Hunter, we are back.
We are back at it again.
All right, so we left off last time. Welcome back, everybody. By the way, episode 3. I'm surprised we made it this far. And um, Hunter, I know I've told you this in the past, but or I've mentioned this to you in the past, that there's a thing with monarchs and kings in history where it's usually if something bad's going to happen, it's the third one. Like, George the Third is when something bad happens because the first
Interesting.
in the line has to work really hard to establish themselves. The second in a line saw their father working really hard, or the one before them, and so they will also work hard, but not quite as hard. And the third in line will usually not have that initial work ethic, and that's where they will start to fumble.
Interesting. So this kind of follows that edgy I think it's an edgy boomer sentiment of what is it like hard times breed hard people who change it to good times, which breeds good people, which make good times make hard times, or
Exactly.
you've seen
Yeah.
that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's like a delayed response. So if this is episode 3, this is the make or break point, maybe. One way to.
There's also good ones, right? Though, like third time's a charm.
Yeah. Ooh, third time's the charm. Here we go, everybody. Third
Yeah.
time's the charm.
Yeah, if you didn't like it on the first two, you better like it now.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. If you've made it through all 3 episodes and you still don't like it, maybe you never will, and just stop watching.
Maybe. What if we're super high tech by the end? It might be.
Oh my god. All right. Oh,
Oh my
no,
God.
no pun intended there, but.
No, yeah,
We'll
that's a
take
good
it.
segue.
All right, so we left off. Oh yeah, okay. We had this really. I think it was a really good way, and we'll probably modify it in the future still to create the
Right.
spheres, which were kind of like the flavors for the world, I think, and they were also the flavors for each god would maybe inhabit a sphere, so to speak,
Right.
not in body, but in virtues. And we tried to do an
Exactly.
example with Norse mythology. And we came up with, by answering the questions, we said that the spheres in Norse mythology, or in a Norse setting game, would be evil, sacrifice, community, greed, power, and winter. I think those were good.
I feel like we're making Norse mythology seem very, very dismal, but I mean, which is maybe true.
And if we had answered that question with good as well, then it all of a sudden seems a lot more balanced because
Right,
good,
yeah.
community, oops, whatever. But that's in the past. So Hunter, what do we want to start with today? I think you had maybe given us a good idea of where we should start today.
I feel like we should do aspect generation today,
Yeah.
and then we can see if we could make some aspects for these that would maybe fit some actual
Totally.
Norse gods.
Totally.
So,
Now, it in my head, and this is maybe I'm limiting myself by thinking of existing RPGs, role-playing games for those listening. It makes sense to me in my head that as your god levels up, they gain more aspects. What do you think on that?
I would agree. I think it would be interesting. Maybe it would be would it be good if there was a maximum amount, and at some point instead of gaining
definitely.
more, you're just swapping aspects or something like that?
Well, I don't think you would swap aspects because in my head, imagine, all of a sudden Zeus doesn't not be the god of lightning anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's always the god of lightning. So I don't know if I agree with swapping aspects. But then, and I think it makes sense that they would gain aspects because over time stories would be added about the gods and they would be enhanced. But I think you're right. I agree with you that there should be a maximum. Right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think how you want to do this, because you'd want the ability to make your god evolve, but you'd also want your god to maybe have staying power because like you said, if you're the god of lightning, you're the god of lightning. You're probably not going to change.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, so how do you mechanize being able to gain things, but there's a limit and you can't change it? Because once you take that aspect, you are the god of lightning forever.
I don't know if I agree with that though. Because
Okay.
let me postulate it to you on this
All
way.
right, all right.
What if lightning, maybe the god of lightning is more specific, maybe too specific for this, but maybe it's more like you're the god, like the things that don't change are your spheres. So like if you're an evil god or a god of sacrifice, you're always gonna be a god of sacrifice. But you might change from being the god of sacrifice in a like very visceral physical sense of like sacrificing animals to you to a god of sacrificing the like your sinful ways or something, right? Like you sacrifice your your like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like you sacrifice your gambling addiction,
Yeah.
or so, like you give things up.
Let me
Like,
throw this one at you and see how you like it. I think this could also help inform the gameplay as well, which is that's always a good thing. Is how sometimes like you'll read about like Hades is the god of the dead, but he's also like, or okay, better example, Poseidon is the god of the ocean, but he's also the god of horses and earthquakes, right?
Right.
But like those are very much the lesser ones. So what if you always have your primary aspect, except to make it more fun and maybe to keep the game more fresh, your primary aspect is always the newest one. So when you level up, you take on a new aspect, and now for this next level, yes, you'll still have your other stuff, but your primary aspect is this new thing. And you'll gain abilities based on that.
I like that, but like the only problem I see with that is then what if you're like the god of lightning?
Yeah.
Or like let's say like you're the god of lightning, and then you become the god of like, or I guess say maybe it's hard to like quantify this, but sure, the god of lightning, then you become the god of horses, and then you want to go back to being the god of lightning. I think if you do it that way, you can't do that.
Sorry, maybe you're right. I probably explained it poorly.
It could be every time you pick a new aspect, you get to choose which one's your primary.
And that's what I was just going to lead into is, you can always gain new aspects, and one is like the major aspect, and the rest are lesser aspects. And whichever one is the major maybe gives you have more powers related to that.
I like that. I think that's a really good.
Okay, so here I'll just fresh page.
Oh shit!
Aspect.
And what if we were talking about maybe there's like some process for your hero that you like lose him.
Yeah.
Like he becomes a god. What if you have to give him an aspect, or something like one of your aspects? Like you have to give him.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
So he becomes the god of like whatever. That becomes his new primary.
So aspect. So I'm Poseidon. I'm the god of the sea, of horses and earthquakes. But eventually, Percy Jackson, we're going to say that he's my servant from the Percy Jackson books.
Right.
Percy Jackson does enough stuff where he becomes on par with the other gods. And it's like, geez, well, I guess I'll give him horses. I get, he can be the the
my
god
domain
of horses.
is horses.
Like, I almost lose the domain because I have a follower that's gained so much power that they've taken over that. They're the shepherd of that domain, as it were.
Right.
And maybe we know that beforehand. So maybe whenever you make a servant, they're a servant of one of your aspects.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And you can only have one servant for each aspect, so that's why you'd want to level up as a god, and that's how you can gain more servants too, is maybe through...
Oh, shit. Like, your aspect is connected to a main... Like, each aspect has a hero of that aspect or something, is what you're saying, kind of?
Okay, your major aspect, your leading aspect, whatever we call it, that one can have, like, 3 servants attached to it, but all your lesser ones can only have 1 servant.
Oh, that would be cool.
Dummy numbers. Yeah.
And that would be ensure like a diverse follower base, because like your followers would like have to reflect your aspects.
So you might have 5 servants, but one of those servants is going to be your horse servant. One of them is going to be your earthquake servant, but 3 of them are your ocean servants.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dope. Okay,
man. Okay, let me just say, we are 8 minutes and 58 seconds in. We are already on a really good roll here today. Okay. People are listening and be like, this is the shittiest sounding game I've ever heard of in my life.
Right.
Oh my god. Okay, so
how will they pull this off?
So you always have one major aspect. Maybe major's not the word. For now, let's stick with major. One major aspect, which is like your god is the god of blank, right? And then you have multiple minor aspects. And I'm writing this on the second, on a new page, by the way, in case.
Yeah, I can see that.
You're also, also the god of blah, 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 blah. And that's all the other minor aspects. But like primarily, if somebody knew almost nothing about you, they would just know the major aspect.
Right.
You have servants. I'm just going to put in dummy numbers for now. You have 3 servants, which are related to your major. You have 1 servant for each minor. Okay. Wow, that's really cool. And then upon leveling up, you gain a new aspect.
Oh, wait. I've got an idea, too.
Let me just finish this thought here. Yeah. And may choose to change around your major minors. So once you get to level 2, you could say, okay, you know, this ocean aspect was great, but it's going to be a minor one. I want to be the god of earthquakes primarily.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
What if here's what I was thinking. My idea was, what if when you level up, you gain a new aspect, or raise the follower count of your major aspect by 1. So it's like you.
Well, here's a thought.
You don't have to be a diverse god if you don't want to be. You can be the god of fire and have tons of followers who are like not the god of fire.
Oh, that's
the
cool.
God of lava.
Yeah,
and you'd be like all your
that.
followers are like lava. You know,
yeah.
And it's
okay. That makes a lot of sense. That's a really good point. So upon leveling up, you gain a new aspect, or raise the following count of your major aspect by 1. And I'm gonna say this because I think we still agree on this point. In addition to either of those, right? Is this still correct? You may choose to change around your major minors.
Yeah.
So maybe you're the god of only 2 things. Like maybe you're the god of lava and volcanoes. Like that is your jam. These are made up ones. And every once in a while though, maybe you want to lean more into one or the other, so you would switch them around.
Oh wait, you could make really interesting. So okay, here's a like an interesting interaction, like role play interaction here. Is like, let's say you're the god of like lightning, horses, and earthquakes or whatever. We'll just keep using that one.
Yeah.
And your major aspect is, the sea or horses and earthquakes.
Yeah.
And your major aspect is the sea, and you have 5 followers of the sea.
Yep.
You
one follower of earthquake, 1 follower of horses.
You switch your followers of the sea. You switch your major aspect to horses.
Yep.
So now all those 5 followers who were, dutiful sea followers now have to be. Do they have to be horse followers? Like, how does that interaction work?
I think you lose 4 of them. So that's why it's kind of costly to switch, and that's like a natural balancing thing. Why you wouldn't switch every level is because it makes sense. Because Poseidon's not easily gonna not be the god of the sea anymore. He like that is his thing.
Right.
But if he wants to switch, it is possible. But you're gonna lose all but one of your followers in that domain will be lost, or servants, I should say, not followers, servants.
So are we balancing this around having generally starting the game with 3 aspects then?
I think you start with 1. That's my thoughts.
With 1 aspect, so you have 1 aspect, 1 follower.
Servant, not follower. Servant.
Or servant.
Yeah,
servant,
you'd have many thousands of followers probably.
Now, here's a question.
Yeah.
Can you have are the different types of servants outside of this process? Like, is this process only applicable to, is it, because we're later on we're gonna have to establish different types of servants. Yeah. So
no, I believe, and tell me your thoughts here.
Yeah.
I think that this is everything. This is like if you want to have a whale be one of your servant, whatever, then that would be one of your sea followers. Or if you want to have Achilles, that would be one of your probably fighting followers, whatever it is.
Right.
I think they all count to the same thing. They're different, but they're all counted the same in terms of servants per aspect.
Okay. I also think it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to think of a mechanical way that, being a follower of this influences you in the mortal world, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this. Let's leave this for now. Let's
and
move
I'm
on
just going to add the
to
last one that we said. Start the game with 1 aspect and 1 servant of that aspect. Yep.
Right.
And so when you get to level 2, you could choose, okay, I want to have another aspect of, right? Yeah, you could choose, I want to gain a new aspect. Or you can say, you know what? I actually want to have another follower of earthquakes, whatever. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like I'm digging on earthquakes, I'm gonna get just another follower or another servant in that.
And I like that you clarified that. Yeah, this is your major aspect.
Major starting.
No, it actually wouldn't matter because if you did choose to do a new one and you wanted the new one to be your major aspect, you wouldn't lose a servant. So it doesn't actually matter at level 1.
I guess, yeah. I'm just trying to think how this would look. Think.
Yeah, no, you're right. On a character sheet or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So,
this is really cool so far. I really like this.
Yeah.
We don't know how it's going to be applied necessarily.
I feel like we need to let's think about like writing a brief write-up for like aspect generation, like how you would think of aspects. You have these spheres. Now, how would you make aspects? Like are aspects because I feel like you need more questions. Like you can't just like say they like you make aspects, right?
Well, okay, we know this. Spheres are intangible generally, and aspects should be tangible generally.
Right.
Now, one thing I'll say is like, for example, I believe. Is there like a god of sailing? There's a god. Okay, I'll tell you this. We know that there's a god of fertility, right, in the Greek pantheon. I'm sure in other pantheons as well.
Right.
And so fertility, that is not tangible. So how would we wrestle with that idea? Also, war is not tangible. So
one might argue. Okay. Here's a question. Here's maybe a way to represent that.
Yeah.
Is that maybe when you get enough aspects in a sphere, you become the god of that sphere. So the tangible aspects of like fertility would be like childbirth.
Yeah.
Or maybe birth. Which maybe that's almost too intangible. But I'm trying to think of like fertility could be like a farm field, right, or something like that. Or like
so. What our example that we have here? We have, for example, winter. We have in our Norse mythology example spheres. We have winter. So maybe your first aspect that you would pick would be like honestly like storms or snowstorms or snow
blizzard,
maybe. Blizzard. And then maybe another one would be ice, and another one might be like, I don't know, polar bears, honestly, right?
Right.
But then maybe once you hit 3 aspects in that sphere, you are the god of winter.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's a great way to like, I don't want to...
Yo! Okay, and maybe this is taking it a step too far. After somebody becomes, for example, the god of winter... The table has to think of a new sphere to replace that. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that not make sense? Because you're like, you only have a limited amount of spheres, or...
Well, but maybe that's true.
It's not like that's being removed from the game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was imagining that you would know more about the world. So you might have... Because it will take at least, conceivably, 3 sessions. And after 3 sessions, you should know more about the world.
Okay, so we say, like, when...
And maybe that's too far. Maybe we'll
achieves 3 aspects within a sphere, and one of them is their major aspect. They then become the god of that sphere.
Yep.
Okay.
And we can leave out generating a new sphere.
We've also unintentionally said that there is going to be leveling up in this game. So that's an interesting thing.
But I think that was almost. I think that's a good thing. I like the idea of leveling up. I enjoy that. Just period. So
when this happens, potential new sphere creation.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. That's all we need to say about that now.
All right, so I'm just gonna copy and paste.
Oh man, this is really neat.
Ooh, that's my address. Hopefully that wasn't on the stream.
I don't think it was. It was 19. I wrote down the minute mark, just so we don't. See
I was gonna say. It's literally my home address.
Maybe you'll see a quick black bar appear. That's because I'm blocking out Hunter's address.
One of our rabid fans is gonna come down.
I had scrolled up at the same time you were doing something, so I think we're okay.
Okay. No, I did it up above, unless you were making.
Oh well. I will look at the timestamp before I upload this.
Okay. Okay. So make questions that guide the creation of aspects.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my god.
I don't know if. Let me
We
throw
need some kind of rules.
Yeah,
like,
let me throw something
something
different
right?
at you.
Okay.
Okay, so do you choose a sphere first as a god, or do you choose aspects first and spheres are done later?
I feel like you make this. I feel like you make the spheres of the world, then you make your gods of the world, right?
Yeah.
So the aspects would always have spheres ready when you're making aspects.
But I feel like maybe we don't make a big pre-generated list of aspects, and the aspect is entirely created by the characters
Well, that's what the
themselves, but
question is,
informed
right?
by the spheres. Yeah, but
Question.
I don't think there's a communal list of aspects. Is what I'm saying.
I think we need example aspects, but I agree that we don't need like that's what I was thinking. Like make questions. I wasn't gonna do a list of aspects right here. I was gonna do questions to help the players make. You know what I'm saying?
So
Yeah.
maybe, and these should be probably a little bit more specific. Like I'm trying, like maybe one of them is what is the symbol of your god. You know what I mean? Or maybe we should not do questions in an order, but just provide a number of questions that the player could be like, what is the symbol of my god? Oh, maybe my god symbol is a horse. Oh, I'm going to be the god of horses. You know, maybe that's the way it's developed. Or they could say, no, I don't want to pick a symbol right now, and maybe it's.
But it'd be more fun to like build. Like, wouldn't it be fun if it was like you built the spheres, you built the aspects, and then the players made their gods, and then they can make new aspects in there. Like, there's gonna be two lists of questions. I feel like, which like the questions will be roughly the same. You know what I'm saying? Because like, wouldn't it be like? I feel like it's too open slatey to just be like, what's the symbol of your god? Like like you could be making you could be making decisions there that would impact your entire gameplay for the rest of the session or the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
Just based off purely off being like, oh, horses are cool. Rather than like making the spheres and kind of getting those like it's lower, like the making the spheres is like less like likely to sort of make something like that you actually end up not liking, right? Because you're vetting them as you're going through and you're kind of like talking about them and stuff like that. Like, it's like a communal process. And then at the end of it, people can sort of say what they,
Yeah. Okay.
What if you could impress your individualism during these process too? You could say, "Hey guys, like I really wanted to play a god of like, I want to play the god of hammers because that's a funny line in like the Marvel movies. Can we make a sphere that would be relevant to that?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, let's do a sphere of like metalsmithing." And then you can make your god out of like you don't have to like, it's not like you can't be individualistic. It's just that like. I feel like it's way too open slate to just like sit down and be like, what god are you playing?
Yeah,
like, what's your god symbol?
So
right?
what if instead of okay, bear with me here.
Yeah.
So on the idea of making a communal list of aspects to help, mainly this might just be to help everyone get inspired with ideas.
Right.
What if each player and maybe the GM too is individually you need to write down 2 tangible things that you associate with each of the spheres we've created, and we would all do this separately. Okay, so you and I would each write down 2 tangible things that evil represents, or that represent evil, or 2 tangible things that represent sacrifice. And then once we've all done that, so we're gonna have this huge bank of words. Maybe we just share all those words until people have found one that they want to use, something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like making aspects a lot more free form because then it's like or like kind of up to people. So let's say remember aspects dictate the ways spheres
PH.
Oh my god, yeah. Spheres present themselves in the world.
It's the manifestation of the spheres.
I don't think any of this is like relevant really. Well, we could make a more robust line here. We make questions that guide the creation of aspects. This is almost like 2 things.
Yeah. Remember, aspects dictate the way spheres present themselves in the world. I think that would be a really fun, almost not like a mini game, but where each person individually, it's just to get the gears turning, writes down, Okay, 2, or however many they want, 2 aspects that relate to evil, 2 that relate to sacrifice, 2 community, 2 greed, 2 power, 2 winter.
Right. So it's like, so you're saying that each player.
Well, maybe this could be step 1. Each player writes down 2 or more physical representations of, writes down 2 or more physical representations of each sphere. Go around the table and share your ideas.
We should say these representations should typically be tangible things.
Oh, I wrote physical, but yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, I see where you're going. Yep.
Are not.
But don't have to be, or but can be intangible. Yeah, whatever. We know where we're going.
Be intangible. Yeah. In some cases, I think we should say like something like example sphere of luck might have. I thought of a good one here that I was like, God, maybe it is like a really good, like I feel like there are exceptions to this, but I almost have to like.
What are you trying to write here?
I'm trying to say like if we're on the table and share your ideas, if you feel inspired by
I have that as
discussion.
step 4. I have that as step 4.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, these steps are, the order is really loose.
Well, wait, what? Wait, choose their first aspect. Wait, I don't understand what's being said here.
But which one? Number 3?
Wait, so you say go around the table and share your ideas. The GM should at some point record all of these ideas.
Just so you have it in the future, so we have, oh yeah, these are some of the ideas that we had. And then at this point, after everyone shared some aspect ideas, you choose an aspect, should choose, I'll reword that then, should choose an aspect from the list or draw inspiration from an idea or from the list to represent their god. Basically, after you've done this, everyone chooses their aspect.
Well, I feel like wouldn't it be? I feel like we need a step in here that's more complicated because we need. I think to quite literally to make
I want it to be more complicated.
well, like to literally, I think to make what we're doing here, you need to quite literally draw a Venn diagram, and put these aspects in their respective.
That's
locations.
what the GM's doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is maybe we should say like. Okay,
I got it. The GM should
say like draw a Venn diagram.
Wait, why a Venn diagram?
Well, because that's how the spheres. Because some aspects are shared by spheres, right? We need to have that included as well.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right. So like draw a Venn diagram with.
Well, a Venn diagram would be a really hard way to. But a six-way Venn diagram is.
I mean, if you're drawing it,
hold
doesn't
on.
take very long.
We
right?
should just provide. We should make one that is provided.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think that's super. I mean, I think with a role playing game, it would be dumb if you bought the book and then like a pre-selected amount of Venn diagrams provided. Like it takes all of like 30 seconds to make a Venn diagram.
But if you're drawing like a 7-way, imagine if there's 8 or 9 spheres.
Well, there shouldn't be that many spheres. I feel like.
Oh yeah, well, we never defined. I think we stopped because we didn't know how many there should be. But okay, regardless, we have 6. That's a big Venn diagram to make.
I guess, but I'm trying to think of a better way to do to show crossover.
Wait. Record all these ideas next to each aspect idea. List the relevant spheres. So I'm going to do an example. Would be, let me look at what we had for the Norse mythology. Like, I'm trying to even like think of one right now. Oh, okay. Like, this is kind of a stupid one, but like, bear with me just for an example. So you might do blizzard, winter, power. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, I guess that works. Yeah.
So then you don't have to. Sure. Then it's not artsy at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So okay, so each player writes on 2 or more physical representations. These representations should be typically tangible things. What can be intangible? What is a fucking intangible? Like luck and have.
Like, what do you mean? I wouldn't even give an example. If we don't need to, luck might have. Yeah, I wouldn't even give an example. I can't even. Honestly, the sphere of fertility might have childbirth, and that's like as intangible as I can think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess we don't have to be super specific right now. Yeah. So, go around the table and share your ideas.
We can even.
I feel like if you're doing this though, like, feel free to write additional.
Yeah.
Ideas.
Yeah, I think it should be clear, and maybe we do this now, or whenever we end up formalizing this process. We can have as many aspects as we want. We could write 1,000 aspects if we want.
Right.
Like, that is
it doesn't
totally
matter,
acceptable.
Right?
Yeah. Because all it is that so when you level up, you can look at what we've already come up with for aspect ideas, so that you're not floored in the moment. Okay, what should my next aspect be? You have a whole bunch of ideas to look at.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, it works out well. You're right. Yeah, because you could just write as many. Yeah. You don't have to really like. Each player choose an aspect from the list or draw inspiration from the list to represent their god.
Yep.
Well. Yeah, I guess draw inspiration from the list to create a new aspect.
Sure.
Represent their god. Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Okay.
This is like.
And I like how they are very different processes, but they both make a lot of sense in my mind, and they're different in a good way, different from one another.
All right, so we essentially have done like what's weird is like this is like not even we're creating something that's like not even like quite yet like where's like the role play, right? Like this is just making the god.
Yeah.
So it's really fun.
Yeah. No, so that's fine. Okay.
Okay, so we essentially have God creation in terms of aspects and spheres.
Yep.
But how do these influence the game mechanically? It's kind of like how because you're playing as now we need to kind of like go into like the actual gameplay here, right? We're like, okay, you have your god, you have we can write some bullshit about like making your symbol and like that can like tie in later. But we need a way that like these aspects actually because these aspects are gonna basically represent how the game is played.
Yeah.
So like how is it that like these aspects actually influence?
So perhaps Hunter, maybe the best way to go about this is let's stop not stop working today. We're only 30 minutes in. Let's stop working on this immortal world document and maybe let's switch to the mortal world and let's start working on that and then we'll see if we can marry these two ideas somewhere. Once we have a little bit more development in each, we might start to see how they might relate to one another.
That's a good idea. I like that. Yeah, we can kind of like let ourselves kind of mull this over.
Yeah, because I think it's going to be easier to make definitions and to make ideas simultaneously than finish the Immortal World game. Okay, now we got to fit in this Mortal World game with it might be easier to build them simultaneously.
It's like when you're like tightening the screws on like a 4-panel thing, right?
Yes.
You can't tighten one all the way. You have to kind of do them each one a little bit.
That's a really good analogy, actually. And it honestly makes sense. Is that we should be working, Okay, let's think of more analogies about doing two things at the same time.
Oh my god.
I'm thinking of a lot now. Like, I don't know.
Okay. So, This one.
You can't build a bridge road first. There's like something stupid like that. I don't know. Like
it sounds like something some dumb like dad saying. Or something.
Yeah.
You got to build the supports before you build the bridge.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Or actually, like, still stupid here. One of my favorite sayings is like, "That's putting the cart before the horse." I love that one because it's like, it's so stupid, but like it's a good point, but it's just stupid.
Right.
Okay.
So I feel like in contrast to this is like Mortal World should emphasize the asymmetry of the two worlds, right? Like,
yeah, this
so
is
it's like
fucking combat system is here.
Yeah, like living in the mortal world is like, what would be it like short-lived, or like, what's it like? It would be quick.
What do you mean
deadly
living? Oh, do you mean like, can I change this word? Play in the mortal world is quick, deadly.
Yeah. Play in the mortal world is quick, deadly, gameplay. Like epic, maybe would be like kind of a way.
Well,
to like,
is it epic? I feel like the epicness is like when a god sinks Atlantis.
That's true.
That's
right.
the epic.
So it's quick, deadly.
It's narrow in scope. I would say.
Yeah, narrow.
Well, I don't know, because then I'm thinking of also like the Odyssey, right? That would in this world that would be.
I feel like that wouldn't be one mission though. Like these are like quite literally like missions, right?
Yeah,
so like they
true.
are narrow. Okay,
that's
they're
true.
Quests, narrow.
Quests episodic.
Yeah. I think one thing should be like what would not say like, okay, here, let me do. I don't think quick. It doesn't have to be quick. Like maybe like deadly narrow. I was gonna say like quick. Like, quick. What am I thinking of right here? I have like a word. Like it's like you're rewarded like in like more immediate rewards. Like you level up quick, right? In this, like I feel like that should be part of this, right? Because it's lethal, so like it wouldn't make sense to have your characters like take forever to level up.
Yeah.
Like so, like as opposed to a god, which is like very slow moving, and like your aspects, like in 5 sessions, your characters in the mortal world might level up every single session.
But your gods might level up every 3 sessions or something like that.
Or 5 sessions or something like big, right? So it's like I feel like the mortal world is like what's it
faster.
Like?
I would say faster.
Faster progression, maybe.
Yeah.
Like you like burn bright. But burn out quick.
That's
or something.
Another
like
stupid one. That's,
right. You know, kind of thing,
brightest light bulb goes out the fastest. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Burn bright. I think it's burn bright, but twice as quick.
Oh yeah, but twice
phrase.
as quick. Yeah. You can change that. Yeah. So it's like it's deadly. It's tight. It's narrow in scope. Maybe would be the best way. I'm
gonna add in episodic because it could be that last session Hercules got the golden fleece. This session, same mission, he's gonna go kill Medusa.
Maybe
you know what I mean?
Maybe it doesn't have to be quick then. Right? Because maybe the god sessions don't necessarily have to happen like every session.
No, I think they do. I think every session. I think you have to.
Okay.
And it might be that the God session is almost like when I was listening to you guys play Blades the other day, how there's, how in Blades there's like the casing it, the actual mission, then your wrap up?
Right.
And maybe it's similar where it's start with gods, do the whole bunch of Mortal World stuff, end with the gods is the usual way that you play.
Right, exactly.
And maybe it's not, maybe it's 50-50, maybe it's the other way around. We'll figure that out, but I think each session you play as both.
Okay, so it's deadly. It's narrow in its goals, episodic. It has faster progression. Is there anything more that we want to like? Maybe it's like focuses. I mean, it literally quite literally focus more on combat. Is what we would say, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like numbers tactical.
The numbers, Mason. Yeah.
Whereas like the other one is more like politically tactical or socially tactical.
And I don't think that means that. Well, maybe it does. I was gonna say I don't think that the Mortal game can't be that.
Right.
But it certainly is going to be more encouraged that.
Right. Roleplay is
here. Maybe here's the best way to think about it.
Possible, but not required.
Right. And what I was going to say is, playing in the immortal realm, when you're playing as a god, you literally, it's very unlikely that you are going to fight anything, just because you can't, it doesn't really happen. Whereas in the mortal world, you always have the option to stab someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a great way. Yeah, like there's not. Yeah, that's perfect, right? Like gods, like it's unknowable how to like kill gods or like how to like.
Right.
End,
it's possible we think, but that's really up to the GM in their own way to determine that.
But in the mortal world, right, you could just stab someone.
Anybody in the mortal. Okay, maybe this is a really good distinction to make. Anything in the mortal world can be killed by a weapon. Maybe it requires a special weapon, that kind of stuff, or being stabbed in the right place.
Killed.
Yeah, anything can be killed.
Right.
And you know what? Perfect. I'm gonna forgive my my editing here. Bold, centered, even bigger.
Wow.
Just to hammer it home, anything can be killed in the mortal world.
Does that mean that in the immortal world, nothing can be killed?
I don't think so. But it's kind of the what's that stupid meme? Well, yes, but actually no, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, no,
yes,
but actually yes.
Yeah, whatever. It's like that pirates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so, that's cool.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. I think this is.
So, would it be smart? Oh! Oh! Okay.
What do you got, George?
The spheres. Are the spheres your attributes?
Oh shit! That might be a good idea. Wait, let's see how that would feel. Your evil level, your sacrifice level.
Yeah.
They maybe could your greed level, your power level. What is his power? What does it say about his power level?
Okay, Hunter, bear with me here.
Oh, that's gonna actually make a lot of sense.
So I have an idea here. Your attribute level is not how good you are at something. That might be something else, whatever. But okay, will you read off? Or here, I'm just gonna copy and paste those stats for a second here. Mm-hmm. So here are the example spheres. I'm gonna paste these into here. So, okay, what if my evil was 2, my sacrifice was 7, and I'm like, whatever these numbers are actually going to be, but just bear with me here. Power 1, winter 10. I'm really good in the winter. Let's say I want to do an action. I have to be able to, okay, this might be, maybe this is better for the immortal world, but I'm going to finish this thought and you can tell me where you think it should go. I want to do something, and the GM says, okay, what are you going to use to do this thing? So if I want to survive a night in the cold, I'm obviously probably going to use winter. And then I might still have to make a roll, but I still have to spend one of my winter points. Whereas if I want to stab someone, right, I'm probably going to have to use either evil or power or sacrifice. And I have to be able to justify to the GM and to the other players why I can use that stat.
This is like so good if we were trying to make it more tactical. Like I just feel like the problem we're gonna run into with like this kind of thing is like this feels more like a like dungeon world thing, right? Like or like a Blades in the Dark thing. Yeah. Which like we could change the course of this, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. I almost wonder if like it would be good to like do something like a combined thing where like play like humans have. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing is like, okay, we got two different things. We could either make this system like the players and the gods are kind of one and the same. It's just that the players just live shorter lives. Like that's the only
the servants,
like
the servants,
and like that's maybe
Not-
what we're kind of trying to like commentate in some ways with the whole system, right? Is like at the end of the day, like they're really just the same things, just a slightly different tale told.
Yeah.
Or we could go with a different direction and say like completely different and say like, fuck the spheres, like whatever. We're just gonna say that humans in here have strength, charisma, like they just have the base stat line.
Yeah.
That's it, and that's your mortal guy.
I really like this idea because we said specifically that the spheres define the game.
Right.
And what better way to make that a mechanic than by making that your attributes, right?
I agree, and so I'm almost here. Maybe you could think of maybe this would like if we want to go somewhere more, still go more tactical.
Yeah, do it.
Is what if we said, okay, there's a base 6 attributes or something, and there's 2 attributes that you choose from the list of spheres.
Oh, love that. Yep, I'm in.
So it's like
that is the best possible.
And at
that's
any
the
point
one.
you can choose to roll those instead of one of the others,
right?
As like your and that's maybe chose your god's like favor over you or something.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah.
Oh shit! Wait. Oh my god, that could be like a totally cool interaction. Like you can only pick your follower starts with a random sphere, and he can replace it with his god sphere at any point. So like you could like when you make your character, because I feel like you should be able to like I think one thing.
Oh wait, hold on.
Up here is like random.
Wait, hold up.
Generation.
We already fixed this, by the way. We've already done it because remember your servants. You're gonna have a very small number of servants.
Right.
Your servant number is equal to your level actually.
Right.
So, and we already said that each servant is already tied to an aspect. Right? So this sphere has to be whatever sphere that aspect is from. And that's
okay. What about oh, right.
You see what I mean?
Well, okay, here, wait. I want let me play off. I'm still mulling that thought over now. So we basically got the stats. Okay, we got the stats. We've got the sphere.
No, the sphere is a stat. This is a stat.
We've got the sphere in the stats. And it's and that one is the sphere that they're part of.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I don't think there'd be a second one. I think there would just be one.
Well, okay. Here's what I like about this. I almost like the idea that like
or
there's
maybe
a random
choice
sphere that your guy comes in with, right? Or maybe I almost think it could be choice or random maybe or something.
I think it should be choice. If you're gonna have a servant for the whole campaign potentially.
Well, no, you aren't though, right? This we're still trying to go with this. Like, it sounds like we're still trying to make this like semi-lethal, right?
But that doesn't mean that they will die.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But that almost makes it more fun, right? It's like you make it the whole thing, and you're.
I don't think everybody's gonna find that fun.
I guess that's true. Maybe we could maybe I guess it leaves the opportunity for randomness.
Yeah, and we can always say that you can roll. If you don't know, you can just roll.
That's true.
Because then most people can have the most fun.
Right.
So this would be
choose,
aspect. Aspect.
Right. Well, I mean, I was gonna say choice / random. I wasn't gonna say only random.
Okay.
But yeah, I see your point.
Okay, cool. So these 4, everything on the planet, everything in the mortal world has these 4 stats.
Right.
Everything from a cricket to a human. And then
oh shit! Wait, and then this one could be like how you make the monster, right? Like if you can make a monster of sacrifice or something, and that's like that would go in here.
Well, if it's a monster, but it could also be a human who values sacrifice.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I just meant like you could make interesting like.
Yeah, the spheres would kind of define the monsters.
Right.
Like you wouldn't have a lava monster who has the winter sphere. That literally wouldn't happen. Like this, if that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Okay, I really like this. Is really cool.
Yeah.
And
I'm taking it.
We don't have to be married to there being 4 stats. That just seems in my head like a reasonable number.
Right.
Because credit to Wizards of the Coast or to D&D, the stats they have. I think we talked about this in episode 1. They are really good.
Well, so yeah, what do we want to have for these? Like,
I think there should be one, and this is like generic alert. There should be something that is muscle or brawn or tough or strength.
Right.
Like, that should exist. Okay, maybe something we should start with, maybe before we even define these, is what numbers are. Is it 1 to 12? Is it 1 to 100? I think somebody said it as
I'm more
joke.
inclined to lean away from D&D as the reference point for rolling, and lean more toward. Well, I don't know, because we did play that AD&D game, and it was actually pretty fun the way they made like lethal combat work in D&D. So maybe I don't mind. It just depends on the swinginess, right? Like,
yeah.
And I think there should be a simplicity to this, the way AD&D has, right?
And, like,
where you don't.
Yeah. Because part of me says, what if we can make everything D6s? How great would that be? You know what I mean? But then
you almost
another part
you
of me
almost don't want D6, right? Because you want it to be more swingy. You
well,
want
so then
epic,
I said,
epic feats, right?
what if,
like a crit 20?
what if it was a D100, and your stats were between 1 or 0, I guess, and 100? No, 1 and 100. And we do the thing
Right.
where you have to either roll, below or above, however we number it out. But, like, so what if... Okay, we're not keeping this, but what if stat 1 was muscle, and my muscle score was, 67? That would mean if
Right.
I rolled a 67 or lower, I succeed on the thing. So a higher stat is better.
Right.
How do you feel about something like that?
So you're rolling. You're
Because
basically
then
doing
in tactical, that's a very percentage-based, easy to read what's going on.
Right. It's a percentage chance to get something.
Exactly. So whenever you do something with muscle, you have a 67% chance of succeeding.
I do like that. I think that's a good one.
And we said that XCOM was one of our touchstones. I think you'd maybe written that.
Yeah.
And isn't XCOM entirely percentage based?
It is. Yeah, it is.
So I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So for now,
okay.
I'm going to say roll at or beneath to succeed a roll, and maybe just roll beneath. Not at.
Right.
Because then, even if you have 100, you can still fail. You can anybody can fail any roll.
So I'm trying to think about like the gameplay in terms. If we're making this like a tactical dungeon crawly game, right, which is kind of what it is to the quest. So like, I feel like you'd want spellcasters, but I feel like your spells are covered by your aspects.
Totally.
Right?
This is divine magic. Yeah.
This is
baby.
basically your magic sphere, and that's what's going to be mostly used for.
Yeah.
What these other ones would be you definitely want something for like muscle would be like your how hard you can hit. I feel like you need something for how you can get hit. That doesn't necessarily have to be a stat though. That could be something else. That's not a stat, right? That could, and almost, I think that's almost better to do because that almost like weights away from, like, weights towards the D&D thing.
What if,
or the AD&D thing?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, what if we have a stat called, maybe in my head it's recovery, and whenever you get hit, you roll a recovery roll, and that could be represented as dodging. That could also be like, I am just so positively muscled that a sword does nothing against me. It could be represented as that, or recovery could also be a representation of, maybe how much armor you have would modify your recovery stat.
Right. Or no, I like that because I think that's actually what some systems do, where you have to you hit the armor, like you have an armor save, and then you also have like a your resistance save, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, how much damage you actually, and that could also be used if you got poisoned or something.
And
like that.
a poison weapon could say, have recovery or -10 to recovery, -10 to target's recovery roll. Oh, okay. So, and I'm also thinking that maybe whatever we end up doing for health or hit points or whatever, or wounds or whatever, maybe it's, if you get hit, it's super easy to die.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But it's harder to get hit. It's
like you're getting hit, and it's
So you might have a recovery score of 90 would be an insanely good. That means if you're hit 9 times out of 10, it's not going to affect you.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
You have recovery. So recovery is also covering for. That could also be like a stamina thing.
I kind of like it because it kind of is a big catch-all, isn't it?
Right. Recovery. like I feel like we need something
like the agility,
for
like the agility stat. Is that what you're thinking? Like
yeah,
the bow and
something
arrow
like
stat.
yeah, the bow and arrow. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think like what made like let me even like look up like a D&D like D&D first edition. I keep saying AD&D. I'm thinking D&D first edition character sheet because it's like I almost feel like that's what I feel like I want it to look like
Okay,
in some
yeah.
ways. You know, like
So
I
like,
just want to
what do
like
they have for the? Do they have dexterity?
they have strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma.
Okay,
And then
so
they have their saving throws, which is like versus poison or death ray, magic wand, turn to stone, which are I feel like that's campy and funny, but like not necessarily needed.
yeah, that's a very they get the pass because they were early role playing games.
I
But
love you know what is gonna be something we should totally rip from that in some aspect is the experience and money system. How like money is experience kind of and vice versa.
okay, yeah,
I think it's totally perfect for like the way we're kind of running this.
because also
right?
money
like,
isn't really a thing that you should care about in this game. Like we don't really care
right.
about
So,
money.
so it should come out in like in that aspect, right?
Yeah.
It's in like it's almost like a joint pool in some ways.
Exactly, it's reward maybe is what it's called.
Right. Yeah.
That would actually be a cool maybe word for it. Okay, so we have
So I guess
we have a muscly stat, which is like how hard you hit, or like how many pull-ups you can do, or like how well you climb or run or swim. Then we have recovery, which is like how well you get hit, how
Right.
well you can recover from being concussed, how well you can stand up to poisons or toxins.
right.
Um,
So one thing I feel like we should be careful here, and maybe a reason to tend towards more stats is we want enough stats that you can make one character that's different from the next.
yeah, totally,
right?
totally. So yeah,
'Cause it's
I'm
like,
okay
if
with
there's
adding more than 4. If we need more than 4, okay.
So let's think like let's just like
So
I
what
feel like there
about-
needs to be some kind of agility
Okay.
stat. We can name it something else, but we can
Yeah,
Yeah.
agility. And so agility would be okay, so that would be your climbing probably or your jumping yeah, that's when they get a little bit
I feel like we should almost like write like this is like hitting like hitting
climbing I think would be muscle, not agility. I know that there's a lot of overlap there.
climbing, yeah.
Swimming.
Swimming, hitting, like climbing, sweating.
Okay, maybe a good way to think about it is muscle is something that like muscle is what the action hero does. Agility is what the parkour hero can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So this is like hitting, like maybe this should also be throwing too.
Yeah, probably throwing. Whereas agility
is and that's the other thing is we want to make these like very defined. I feel like if we want because like tactical game, if we're making this more tactical, you don't want it. There's not like I'm arguing for like using muscle to like do something that agility should do. Like this should be very much like agility. Like if you're using a throwing weapon, you're using muscle. You're not using agility.
Yes.
And that's it. That's just that's
Yep, I
like,
agree. I agree.
Yeah. So agility is like how would you put this? Like running. Well, okay, maybe we should say. Okay, no, I don't think. I think like this could also be like stamina.
Recovery, yeah,
Right?
totally.
Like your
Yeah, I
stamina
agree.
is that. So like agility is like yeah, it's like avoiding
the traps.
Is that like whatever your perception skill would be?
Oh, that's a good point. We
Maybe
definitely
this would be
need.
dodging.
Well, no, wouldn't that be under recovery?
Well, no, recovery is like after you've gotten hit, right?
Wait, so okay, but that implies that then to do it like a combat roll, somebody would roll their muscle roll, then you would roll a dodge roll, then you would roll a recovery roll.
I think we just roll dodge and armor together like D&D does, right? Oh no, but you can't right here because you're not. I guess I'm still thinking about this in terms of like modifiers. So I'm like, okay, so maybe it wouldn't.
I don't think it would be dodging. I think agility.
I guess you don't really dodge like. Well, do you? You kind of do dodge things. Um. Well, maybe
Or no, maybe you
recovery-
would just use
maybe this should
recovery
be
or
healing. But I don't think you. Maybe you don't roll or no. This is
resisting
almost more like
damage.
resistance.
Yeah,
right?
resistance, stamina.
Resisting damage.
Yeah.
So you're hit. Well, then in this case, wouldn't armor just add to your recovery? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
why wouldn't it? Right?
Yeah,
like, so like
it
maybe this
should.
should be dodging then. Like you hit.
But-
like no, I think what should be is okay. You roll to hit someone, you hit them, then recovery is a recovery roll is how much the damage is reduced by. Do you know what I'm saying? So like you stab someone, and if they don't dodge it, you're stabbing them. Like you're definitely stabbing them. Recovery represents how well they're gonna take that blow. So that could both play into like
Okay, so
the armor like shrug it.
That's fine, but we are accepting then that every roll in combat, at least non-magical rolls, is going to have 3 rolls as attached to it.
Well, yeah, because one roll could kill you, right? Like,
That's fine, but like we are okay with that, and like I'm fine with it.
I mean, well, like that's kind of why I'm trying to like say like what do we want this to be? Because I want us to have the same creative vision for this. So like, if you don't want this to be a highly lethal tactical thing like that, like I'm fine not.
I totally am.
Yeah. So I feel like we should almost have a lot of checks, but once all the damage goes through, like if the damage ends up going through, it goes through, you're dead. But there's all these ways to stop it from going through, kind of.
I almost feel like, and tell me what you think here, is that weapons don't do different amounts of damage. Now, weapons might modify things. Like a weapon might, maybe a dagger is harder to dodge. Bear with me, as an example.
Okay.
Okay, I have my dagger, and maybe it makes it harder for you to dodge. I roll my muscle check. Okay, I pass. You roll your dodge check. You fail. You roll your recovery check. You fail. I do 1 damage to you. How does that sound?
Wait. Sorry, repeat that one more time. I'm a little... Yeah.
Okay, so I'm holding a dagger, and this dagger maybe modifies your dodge roll to make it harder for you to dodge. Sure. I pass my muscle check, so I'm going for the hit. You fail your dodge roll, okay? And you fail your recovery roll. I do 1 damage. Now, if I had been using a great axe instead of a dagger, I still would have just done 1 damage there.
Okay, so it's like, I see what you're saying. So the weapon,
or maybe there's like
the weapon type
maybe there's
modifies.
Yeah.
Weapon type modifies things other than the damage.
And maybe there's like 1 damage weapons, 2 damage weapons, and a 3 damage weapon is like crazy powerful, right?
What if we did it on like a wound system, but it's very like a very simple wound system?
Well, I was
so like you have like 3 levels of like everyone has 3 health or something like
That's
that.
That's what I was gonna say.
And like the first chunk is So it's like it's significant to do 1 damage.
Yeah, getting stabbed with a dagger in real life, I'm sorry, but like no matter who gets stabbed with a dagger, that's gonna fucking hurt, and that's gonna really. If you get stabbed 3 times, I mean, like that's a lot, right?
Well, maybe instead we should say is that very rarely is damage modified, and damage is only doubled. It's never like done more. So it's like everything in the game does at least 1 damage. Everything in the game does no more than 2 damage.
And maybe there's like some magic weapons that can do like 3 or something.
Right, 3 or affect you in some
That's what I'm saying.
Way.
Like 3. Anything that could do 3 damage is like insane. That's literally that would instantly kill you. A gun would do 3 damage.
Right. Yeah. Because I guess to counter your point, right, is like yes, getting stabbed in the stomach might like kill like many people and is like pretty bad, but I feel like you still can't compare it to like getting shot with like a high caliber rifle.
Exactly.
Which doesn't, or maybe in more in this universe, getting like a full on hit with a great axe to like the chest. Like you're probably gonna die of 1 a little bit.
So I'm gonna write this. Okay, we don't need this here right now.
No.
Is damage types, and I'll scroll up a little bit, or damage values, examples. So like a dagger might Dagger does 1 damage. Great sword, and like these are stupid, but great sword does 2 damage. A gun or magic weapon does 3 damage. Not much more. Like that, and that's maybe all we need to say about it for now. Is that, and like, you know, the average person might have 3 to 5 health. Is that what we're saying?
Yes. I almost think.
And maybe it's just 3. Maybe it's just 3. I'm just leaving that there because
I almost think like 2 to 4.
Oh, sure, I can see that.
Because like I mean, or maybe even 1 to 4. Because like I mean, I feel like there should be people like get stabbed with the dagger and just die. Like there's no, you know, like it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I mean, I would almost be inclined to say 1 to 3, but maybe like. I mean, because who do you know that can actually take like a gun, like a good clean gunshot and like not die?
Like, well, like did you hear
maybe
about
a couple?
like,
Yeah.
Like,
well, okay, but maybe like is the base level? Yeah, maybe 1 to 4.
And I'm also thinking like we're playing with like, you know, Hercules. I like to think in my head canon that Hercules could get shot and still walk. You know what I mean?
Well, you're saying average person.
Okay, that's true. I meant like average servant might have no. Oh. Okay.
Well, why don't we just make a hard rule and say servants have.
Yep.
Servants have between.
I said 1 to 5 because
1 to 5 health.
I
Two
think
shots from.
Yeah, exactly. 2 shots from a gun is going to kill a servant.
Well, yeah, it's all, keep in mind, like guns don't exist in the world prior to playing.
Well,
I guess they could.
They might. I like American Gods, right? Or Percy Jackson. Guns exist there, right?
Right.
But like
maybe we should make this more like small melee
arms.
Does, and then this should be like large melee, or maybe small arms.
Well, hold on, Hunter.
Large,
can I change and I actually like
medium,
what you're doing.
and then put medium arms, and this should be like great sword. Like submachine gun or something, you know, like.
Well, hold on. Yeah.
And this is like dagger
or
sword, like bow.
Well, okay, hold on. Before we go giving examples, I agree with all those examples.
Yeah.
To start.
Sure.
But let's say we were playing a game set in 1920s or 1930s Chicago.
Right.
And there were gods, but like that aside. Maybe getting shot with a pistol isn't lethal in that. You know what I mean? Because the setting changes. So I like that we say small arms, medium arms, heavy arms. No, I would just say small arms.
Small arms.
Because in something, a dagger is a small arm, but as is a pistol. So it totally depends on your setting, I think.
Okay, yeah. So we have small arms. Okay, so small arms is 1 damage, medium arms is 2, heavy magic weapons like.
And I would say maybe just nothing. Yeah. Like there's nothing that does more than 3. You know, that might just be an easy rule to make.
Yeah. Servants have 1 to 5 health. Maybe we should say like health is done in a wound system. So
what do you mean by that? Let's
like. Well, okay. Here, maybe I shouldn't just make that a rule. What do we want to say? Do we want to say that you have your group of servants?
Yep.
And they're getting attacked. Do we think that these servants are good right into the bitter end and they just
so I was gonna say,
or do they like slowly like get fucked up or something?
Yeah. So let's say I was a servant with 5 health. Maybe here is like, so I can take, if you see what I'm drawing, like I can take that wound, still full. I'm still fighting my best. I am no longer fighting my best. This one's kind of a freebie, and I'm dead.
All right, but like, okay, one thing that could, and I see, so that line could be anywhere.
Oh, that's a good point. I think it makes sense.
Because not every servant has 5 health, right? Is the point?
Well, maybe it's after the 3rd only. Or maybe it's even more so. Maybe there's a line there and a line there. And yeah, not everyone's going to have 5. So if you only had 3, you just wouldn't have that last bit. You would just have your first 3 health. So you can take 2 hits. After you take a 3rd... hold on. it should be on, not between. Oh my god, there's just no good way to like no effect from taking 1 damage. Stat loss after 2, dead after 3, right? So when this one's filled, there's no effect. When this one's filled, you lose some power. When this one's filled, you're dead. And maybe if it, I don't even know. Yeah, I think this is the way to do it. I'm just not quite sure what the answer is. Oh, maybe it's always this. Maybe it's always, no matter how much you have, the no effects are first. And then you get stat loss and then dead. So it's always the penultimate health that you lose is the stat loss.
Oh, I see. Oh, so then it's, well, what if you only have 1 health bar?
I don't think any, what is servant, well, if you only have 1 health bar, what's great is that you would just die if you lose it. There's no stats to lose.
Oh, yeah, wait. I guess, yeah, you just don't get any.
And maybe if you have 2, once you, maybe it actually feeds in from this side. So if you have 1 health, if you see the direction my cursor's moving from, if you only have 1 health, you would just die when you lose that health. If you only have 2 health, you would take a stat loss, then die.
And then die.
If you have 3, it actually is a good buffer. That's having 3 or more is really good because it gives you a free wound that you can take, basically.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't be concerned about stat loss if you were just gonna die anyways.
Yeah, if you're at 1 health, like whatever, you're on such thin ice anyway.
We could also flip the narrative or whatever, but like basically change it so that every character has 5 health, and that's a thing. Like, or every
I would be totally okay with that. Well, no, but like in my mind, no, actually I agree with it because a Cyclops would have a really high recovery and maybe a higher dodge score, or at least a really high recovery score. Whereas a cricket is gonna die, if you, I don't know. Oh,
right.
Or you know how we also talked about different types of servants? Maybe
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, maybe monstrous ones have greater health, and angels have like 1, whatever. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is what if it's like you have your body and like you choose your template and that determines your HP. Like all humans have this health, and then maybe there's some way that gods can like promote like humans, like you almost become a different like you stop being human and you become like a hero, or it's just like a different type of servant, or or something like that. Like it's actually, you literally change your being.
Yeah. And
Faye?
I always think that would be like, we said like ghosts or spirits might be things. So that would be, maybe spirits is spirits. That might be a better one.
I like the idea of like,
Okay, I'm going to put these in a more reasonable order here.
Yeah.
And then all we're going to have to do is, not necessarily, but there should be a way that these are countered. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's fine. Like, there should be something that animals are better at than humans, maybe. I'm not sure.
I feel like we could group some of these more. Like, I feel like this could be animals. Because, like, are you really going to have, like, I'm guessing this would be, like, a cat, right? It's like, are you really going to have that as, like, one of your...
You might.
I mean, maybe we could say, like large animals. Then we could say this is small animals or something, and this is like spirits and medium animals. I mean, because I also was thinking like this would be also, maybe this is like constructs or something. Like this is like your animated statue or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I like that. Yeah, and then this, I guess, this would also be like monsters and maybe this would also be angels, right? Because I feel like you need some kind of.
I think angels would fall under spirits, wouldn't they?
Only 2 HP though. You know what I mean? Like.
But like a
divine like created servant only has.
Well, these are all divine created servants. You know what I mean? They all are.
That's if you subscribe to the. So yeah, because you have like your little animals you could send along. So this would be like
Yeah.
dogs
And
and like
quite
cats.
honestly, I think okay. I'm gonna change it up on us. I'm gonna change it up. Okay, this is getting really stupid and gamey though. So maybe, and this is totally like maybe we need to sleep on this idea, or maybe I don't even know if I like it. Where when you create, when you gain an aspect, you get to make a new servant with it. Maybe you get like certain HP worth of servants. So you could make one monster, or a human and a spirit, or 5 small animals. Something like that, perhaps.
Oh,
I'm not in love with that idea. Or maybe you just have a total amount of HP that you can have between all of your things, so you can't always make a monster.
Right. I feel like one way like I like that idea, but I almost feel like it'd be good to make like 3 tiers, right? Like I almost think it should be like heroes, like let me just modify this because we can always
this is always changeable.
Maybe if we do like this, what if we say monsters, heroes, and constructs have 5 HP?
Yep. Oh, I love this.
They have heroes. There's no such thing as small animals.
Yeah.
And then it's
I actually like the 5-3-2 drop. I think is good.
5-3-2. We could also do a 6-4-2. Would be another way to do it, and then maybe that would be like a little bit less because we're also going with a magic gun is doing 3 damage,
and that actually
two good magic hits on a construct kills it, or a hero like that makes sense to me, right? Like 2 solid hits, and I think that should be a good metric, right? Is like how many hits. We can also modify this. We could say that this does. No, actually, no. I think this is still good. I think the only thing is like that means that humans would
what if? Okay, maybe this is dumb, but maybe spirits deal 2 damage and have 2 health. Monsters deal 6 and have 6 or something, or they deal 3 damage and have 6 health. Humans deal 2 damage and have 4 health. Spirits deal 1 damage and have 2 health.
Oh, wait, so
it wouldn't matter what weapon they're using.
But I'm almost leaning to like more of a like slight rock paper scissors than not a hierarchy. Like there's got to be a reason to do like, like to have a spirit do something instead of a construct, right? Like a spirit. Like a spirits are ethereal, they can like fade through things. So, like there's got to be like
we'll have
benefits.
Yeah, definitely. No matter what, I think there need to be benefits to why you would pick a medium animal over a monster. But yeah, we might need to sleep on this because as we just said, we're at 1:20 right now, which is great. This is how long our first episode was. I think we finished the aspects, which is great.
Right.
And I think we made some really good thought process on.
I'm almost gonna go back to it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
Maybe that would be the best way to phrase it all. Like on kind of just so I don't like look at something that I think later is. Like I don't want to wrap this up.
Hold
but
on.
Let's finish this thought one more time.
Well, I was just gonna say because we don't know yet. Maybe or you know what I mean. So we have wherever our brain wants us to go. These are the 2 ideas we were debating between.
Right. I'm also gonna say or 3-2-5 or something like or 3-2-6, right? Like like maybe this is like the upper bound.
Wait, you know what an easier way to think about this is? It's just 3-6, 2-4, and then like 1 to 3, I guess.
Would be good, and then the spread amongst humans, and then you can be like kind of a randomness component to it.
Yeah, and I mean cleanly, that's the cleanest number because 1 to 3, 2 to 4, 3 to 5.
Wait. Sorry. I just gotta like think this out a little more. I almost think this.
Well, I liked it because then they had overlapping ranges.
Well, I almost don't like it because so here's why I don't like it, George.
This would be 5 to 6.
Here's why I don't like it. Is I actually don't like the idea of like. I like the idea of more established templates because it's tactical. It's less loosey goosey, right?
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
Your humans are going to be 3 or 4. You just know it, right? And it's like the difference between a 3 or 4 human is like the difference between a old crippled man and a young strong person is like at the end of the day we're all humans. There's just a slight edge we get with HP,
Right.
you know.
I can see that.
So
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we can wrap it up now.
No. That's
Yeah.
good, and I like that we have that definition. I agree. I think that's a good argument. So basically, today we nailed down the creation of aspects and whatever it is. Spheres were already finished in the Immortal World, and in the Mortal World we got we got a lot of thoughts done. We got a lot of thinking done here, but like you know what, it is not. And you can't put the cart before the horse, Hunter. It takes a while.
No, I think this is good. This is like I'm liking how this is shaping up. I'm interested to see how it all.
Yeah.
I feel like one thing that would really help that might be good to do next session, or maybe we should spend one more session on the Mortal World, is to just draw a character sheet
for next time.
Yeah.
Maybe draw a. We might be too soon, but I agree that time is nearing.
Yeah, I almost feel like character sheets because it's like two different like views, right? It's like character sheets for this kind of Mortal World make a lot more sense because the character sheet is like this is so much more tactical, so your stat line matters a lot more. Whereas like in the Immortal World, it's okay to leave things up in kind of like loosey-goosey fashion because that's how the roles are going to play out anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Awesome. All right.
I think this is really good progress today.
Yeah.
Nice. And then episode 4 is coming again to our audience, which I don't think there is one. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know that you are there.
Yeah. And if, dude, who knows? Maybe this will blow up in 2 years from now, and we're publishing the game.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Bold predictions. All right. Well, bye everybody.
Yep. See y'all.